Hey there, it is Bobbie Jo with Real Talk with Bobbie Jo, and today I have a special guest, Jody Langley, who's one of the preferred lenders I work with. Would you like to say a little bit about the company you work for?
But too, I work with a company called Movement Mortgage, and the whole point of the name is the company is out here trying to make a movement, trying to get people to get into homes easier, trying to help the community, and just trying to be around and
Oh, you're describing yourself right now. You really are good. I'd like you're always out in the community doing things.
that's what it is why I came to work in movement because we give back what $10,000 to like 30 different charities every quarter.
I love that.
And I personally am so involved with community, as you said, and being able to work with company, do what I do, what I've run, actually help other people in financial areas too is just amazing.
That is all good stuff. Yeah. So I brought you here today. So I really wanted to dive into first-time home buyer programs that are available, and I was hoping that you could start by just explaining to someone who doesn't hasn't bought a house what exactly is a first-time home buyer program.
Okay. First time home buyer, usually, if you have not owned a home in the last 3 years, you're considered a first time home buyer, meaning that you get special discounts on different interest rates, different down payment assistance programs. And when we say down payment assistance, meaning if you don't have the funds for the down payment, you can borrow it at a very low interest rate, if any interest rate at all. Um, it's trying to get more people into homeownership, and some of the programs actually, the down payment assistance programs, you actually don't have to be a first time home buyer now.
Oh, really? Mhm. So you're saying that you could already own a home, or you're just saying that you had owned a home before?
You can currently own a home and actually get the assistance, kind of depending on where it is, but you do not have to have that first time home buyer.
That's crazy.
I have a client right now, literally, she's selling her house and buying a new one using the document assistance program because when she is selling the house, she's breaking even. She's not making any profit off of it. And she's able to utilize the program so that she can get into a bigger house for her family.
That's awesome. So with that, then is she doing a less amount down and also is helping her with the closing costs, or is it just helping with down payment?
This particular situation, it is helping her with the down payment and a very little bit of closing costs. And the rest of the closing costs are coming from the seller.
Oh, very good. That was in the realtor didn't negotiate that part for
Yeah.
sure. Yes. So with the down payment assistant program right now, what you're doing for client, how much extra is it costing them? You were saying it was a lower fee for the loan for the down payment assistance program, but how much is her specific loan?
How much more is it costing her?
Yeah.
So it's a $470,000 house, and she is borrowing $472,000. So she pays a little bit over the purchase price because she's borrowing the extra amount. But in the amount of uh, appreciation of the home and the equity, she'll make that up in the next 3 years. Yeah, it could be less. Yeah, more or faster than that. I will say, utilizing the program, the first mortgage interest rate is a little bit higher than if you have your own funds. But you talk about writing off the interest, you talk about having a home, gaining the equity. It's a win win situation for her.
Absolutely. I feel like it opens up the door, for a lot of people, like, especially in this situation, you're saying that she doesn't have equity to take out, like she's breaking even, but then it's still opening doors for her where she's not stuck just renting. And if she doesn't have money to put down on for a down payment, I feel like right now that in our economy that rental down payments are just as high as a down payment, when you're doing 23.5% down. Like because since we had COVID, the rentals it was so hard for people to get people out during COVID. I feel like a lot of landlords now are having that there's a pretty deposits be as big as 3 months worth of rent, and you get the data up front. So when I see how big it is, I'm like, oh my gosh, are you not getting into a home? So I so encouraging to hear that you can use that and not be a home buyer. I advise that. So if you are a first time home buyer, I know that there's certain restrictions you have to go through. I know that there's at this class. What can they expect from the class? How much does it cost to take this class?
So the class, there's a few different classes. Different programs require different classes. One is just Fannie Mae has an online class. It's pretty easy. It's $25 to $35. Few of them that are free. The main one that we're seeing is it's a 5-hour class, and it seems like, oh my gosh, that's too much, too long. You get the best information. It's You can take it online. It's $50, or you can go in person, or there's no, there's still some people that are doing it was a 5-hour class, and it's a lot of fun. I've taught them in the past, and you really kind of get the live feeling of understanding different scenarios. They're going over what closing costs are, inspection information, homeowners insurance information, breakdown of the payment, uh, just every situation you're going to see within the home buying process.
It's kinda what I'm trying to establish here right now for our listeners is the same idea. It does not have to do it all in one 5-hour class.
Yeah.
And also a little bit, more detailed. But my goal really is to help educate, in this first part of our Real Talk with Bobbie Jo, is just to educate people. So, like, someone's curious about buying a home, they can just watch these videos and get a good understanding of what it entails. And, for people who have never heard the first time home buyer program, yeah, they really have no idea what that means. So a lot of people don't realize it means two separate loans. Um, and you're seeing it at a lower rate, for the second loan. How much lower would that be than if someone were to borrow or take out a personal loan, or like how else would they get the down payment if they didn't have it?
A lot of the clients that I'm seeing right now, they'll borrow from their 401k, gifts from parents. I have a couple right now that they're getting married, so they have a house fund. So things on the registry or whatnot that you can do that. So they're kind of gathering funds up there. And when somebody actually has the amount of funds to put down, could be 3%, it could be 3.5%. The That loan actually stays within the bank that closes the loan. So if somebody came to me and had their down payment, Movement Mortgage would actually fund that loan. Okay. And they would get my pretty little face on that that bill every month. Okay. So that interest rate is a banking interest rate. So that's what we set through the market. Now utilizing Washington State Housing as one of the top programs that we're using right now, they they set their interest rate. So their interest rate's going to be a little bit higher because the amount that you're borrowing for the down payment is at a 0% interest rate for either 30 years or until you either sell or refinance the home. Oh, wow. So, perfect example if you have I'm going to do easy max. I don't have my calculator. $300,000 purchase and 3% is $9,000. But you're actually going to borrow 4% of the purchase price at a 0% interest rate that there's no payment due until you either sell or refinance. Okay. So because that money is sitting there at a 0% interest, Washington State Housing is going to, I mean, they're going to get their funds somewhere, and they're not going to do the loan for free. Uh, but once we close that loan, they actually take over the servicing, so it's actually one of their loans.
Are there minimum requirements for the first time home buyer program? Like, can you not make too much money or you have to do little money? Is there like a window they fit in?
There are there are probably four four I would say 4 or 5 different programs. One is it's a larger down payment assistance depending on um, your race, depending on how long you've lived in the state of Washington. Let's see, there's another one. There's a disabled child where you get a different percentage, and the there are income limits, and it all depends on the county and the program. So one program may be $180,000 uh, maximum income limit. One may be 147,000. One may be 65.
So it's all dependent on, like you're saying, the area and the actual borrowers. So that's when someone fills out the application with you, then you can help place them into the best one that you think will be best fitted for them.
Definitely. And I always tell all of my borrowers, give me all the information. Let me figure out what I don't. what I don't need because the bigger picture that we see allows us to find the better programs.
And it takes a lot of experience, I would imagine, to understand all these different programs because it's probably like real estate. There's so many different facets, of, like a price point. Like it's not, it's someone for first time home buyers, we're typically looking at 450 or below. And that doesn't mean automatically you're gonna be a trailer park in a neighborhood. It could mean you're in a condo or it could mean you're in a house in a little bit more rural area. But there's just also different avenues, which, each person has their different tastes and their different need criteria. If you need to be in Seattle, you're probably going to be in a little park. But still, I mean, everyone is just a little bit different with their needs. But I feel like it's probably a big puzzle of your job is like getting in their information and then researching and finding out which shoe fits them best.
And I mean, with the different programs, so many things change all the time. So we're always, going through and updating and kind of running things off each other in the office where certain things like you hit a hiccup and you figured out how to get around it. Uh, but with the guidelines changing quite a bit, there's usually a day out of the week or every 2 weeks where you just kind of skim through the new bulletins and see what has changed so that you can actually share with everyone else. There you go.
I I can't I could never be more Schlenderker because things do change so much, and sometimes I feel like sometimes when there was a certain role, and all of a sudden that role doesn't exist, like, I think I'm starting to understand the lending world, and then I call you, and it's like, I was completely wrong, so I don't know how you guys keep up with it. That's a lot of reading.
It's you have to make a game out of it.
Yeah, mhm, I would imagine so. If you're going through the first time home buying process, or the program, do these steps take longer, or is your close typically still 30 days?
Up 30 days or less. Uh, mm, I would say it can be longer. Usually, usually we go back and we look at documents 60 days we look back 60 days on our documents. So sometimes when clients have, let's say, mattress money or money in their safe or cash sitting around that they're planning on using, um, we can't use that. It has to be seasoned for 60 days. So sometimes when I start talking to a client, it's, hey, this is where my money's coming from. Like, perfect, get it in the bank. Then we know our timeline. Then we make sure you know the timeline so that way we can, schedule the closing out correctly.
I know that, and for someone who doesn't understand what CZ means, can you explain that?
hmm Um, we have to be able to paper trail, meaning we have to walk through every deposit that goes into somebody's account. So if it's a paycheck, we can see that it's coming from a paycheck. If somebody sold a car, we have to be able to say, okay, so where's your bill of sale? Where is the title? How do we know it was yours? And those funds need to be in an account for 60 days or more. So that way it's been through a cycle and it's a lot to do with the Patriot Act to make sure there's no money laundering, that make sure there's no, terrorist activities going on and all the wonderful things we have to be covered by being a bank.
I know, well, we appreciate that you're doing things the right way. We wouldn't want them coming back after us, right? Or no, no, gosh darn it. So is there any other advice you would have if we have a first-time home buyer who is considering, someone is just considering the idea of possibly buying a house in the next 2 years? What would your advice be to them?
Start now. I mean, I tell everybody start now, get an idea and understand the process because once you tell anybody you're thinking about it, you're going to hear 15 different scenarios, 15 different wrong information. And please don't let MD any mortgage questions or real estate questions. Um, a lot of the times people will come in and they're like, oh, I don't qualify. I want to do it 2 years from now. Well, then we sit down and they do qualify. And instead of putting that $9,000 down for the rental deposit and the first and the last month's rent, the rental deposit, and all of that wonderful stuff, let's utilize it properly. And then another thing is working on people's credit. Sometimes there may be a little thing on the credit that we have to get situated. And uh, the more information we can get out to everyone, the better the purchase process will be.
I totally agree with that. I feel personally, when I have someone tell me that, I'll ask them, like, "Can you please just call one of my preferred lenders? I'm gonna give you a couple phone numbers, and you reach out to one of them." because it's so much easier to work towards a goal when we have a plan and they understand the financial plan is going to get you there first. And also, if they do move forward in the process, they only need to update the information. And I feel too like when you guys talk and we have a plan, well, they're like, oh, maybe my savings doesn't need to be as high as I thought it did. Or, sometimes people think they have to pay off every single credit card. And sometimes that's not the best way to help improve your credit score. Like you guys say some pretty creative things and feel like having the plan of action is the best thing. And I can't answer those questions. That's why I always have to refer to a preferred lender first. Keeps us employed. Yes, it definitely keeps you employed. There's so many different avenues too, like you were just saying, like, about the mattress money. But, sometimes when people have gone through divorces, they need time to find their old divorce decrees or like there's just things that take a while to get. So that's why I really feel and credit repair especially, like I'm always surprised on how to best increase your credit. But if they wait until they're ready to buy the house mentally and financially, then they may miss the opportunity to increase their credit so they can capture a higher or a better interest rate from having a better credit score. So, and I always tell people too that don't just go online and look for a credit repair company. Like, please call my preferred lender and let them put you in line with someone who we know, like, and trust. Because there's a lot of people out there that just take your money but don't actually increase your credit.
Ugh, I've helped too many people, and I feel horrible telling them that they just spent 12 months of $150 every single month for nothing. It's heartbreaking.
So, how many preferred companies do you have that you work with or you could recommend people to?
We in our office, we utilize 2, and, um, uh, there's no need to add another one on, so I don't um, a lot of people say that they can do a lot of things, but until they've actually shown it, we won't put them on that list.
I love that. It's the same thing when someone asks me for recommendations for a contractor or a painter, like I'm referring them someone that I personally would use and I know, like, and trust. And that's huge in this industry for I think anything. I always we don't go on vacation. I'm reaching out and does anyone know? Has anyone we just went to the Maldives. I was asking, has anyone been there? Like, tell me about it. And where should we go or not go? So especially when it comes to finances and the biggest purchase of your life, I feel like you need to definitely align yourself with the right people.
Right, well, and, I mean, you just like me, I mean, our clients, we get very involved with our clients, so we want them to be taken care of, like, if it was, my son or my sister or something, and it definitely not going to get that referral of any sort or be able to help anybody else out if Rick gives me information.
Absolutely. And or consider someone who's gonna take that $150 a month and not get anywhere. That'd be horrible. That'd be
It's
horrible.
it is, and then literally a couple of clients, it's just 2 tweaks and we had the score fixed to where we needed it to be.
Wow. I feel like during hardship, especially like I'll have clients and they have so much misinformation from people, like are trying to get them to refinance, and that they're in a hardship situation. I'll be like, oh, wait, no, what is your interest rate? And they'll tell me that it's in the fours, and this person's trying to get them to refinance to get 80K out, but they're going to be, at 9 or 10%. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, that seems like predatory blaming to me. No, I don't think that as a loan that he wants to sell to their aunt or their sister or son. Like, right?
No, no, and you need to look at the back end numbers, how much is it possibly that oh, am I paying off debt? Am I doing an investment? What am I getting for it? Is it going to, wash out the expense? Right. And unless you have somebody sitting there going through it with you, sitting in front of you doing a Zoom, you're not going to get those answers. And that's why a lot of the online lenders, they're going to, I'm not trying to bash anybody. They who does a great job, but uh, that they're not knowing what the true desire is and the true outcome is. They're not uh, as I guess, how do you say it? They're not as bought as to help.
For sure. I feel like there are bad lenders out there. Personally, like for ourselves, we have a VA loan on our house and we get email and or calls I time. And one time it actually kind of got me because they were saying you want to be aware of the new programs that the VA is offering. And like like you help your human amount, which we are on our house, we're under 3%. So I'm like, well, what kind of programs they have? Because I work with lower immigrants, I'm curious. Well, then basically they're just trying to tell me that I could refinance and I could take all this equity out of my house to pay off any debt. And like, well, That's not helping me at all. Like, as I do that, I feel like it's mentally lending, but I put myself in some of my clients' positions if they were to hear back, they'd probably be more interested or say that they don't understand that, it's this whole world situation. I, yeah, but anyhow, it just annoys me.
Well, and sometimes as you're going through and looking at the purchase or looking at a refinance as you're talking about, there's fees that come about, and sometimes those fees are just kind of covered up. It's like, "Oh, well, this is how much money you're gonna get out," but they're not actually telling you you're spending $20,000 to go out.
And not to say that sometimes people need to budget refinance and take money out. And I mean, that happens. So you should get a couple of quotes and make sure you're getting the best rate, like you're saying, not paying a lot of fees and just getting an honest, fair transaction. And
Line by line. Yes, I lie.
line by line. And I love that too because I know that if clients are shopping rates or looking around, you have actually compared the rates with people before and like explained what they mean. And I really appreciate that you have done that. Because I don't understand all the lingo in there at all. And every lender calls them different things, it means different things. I think especially for the first time home buyers as a valuable resource to be able to have a lender say, okay, you're going to shop the rate. Let me look at it for you. Just going to compare your apples to apples as a big advantage. So thank you.
Oh, you bet. It I will be the first one to tell someone if my program isn't the best. It's not all about interest rate. A lot of the times it's about, the team that you're working with. Basic, are you going to have that strong approval? Are you going to have that strong offer? Does that the seller know, hey, this is a reputable company. I know it's going to close and is not going to blow up at the last minute. And showing the buyers every single thing on the fee sheets, it makes it so that when my clients go in to sign the loan documents, they literally are like, "Oh, Jody's already gone over that 15 times with me. Yep, they're all the same."
Nice.
And it just makes it so much more exciting instead of being nervous about signing, 150 pages of paperwork.
It is very, very, very redundant. So for a first time home buyer, besides taking the class and getting that second loan, is there any other programs or avenues that they can use?
Um, a lot of it is just sitting down with your lender and give them all the information, and that way we can figure out what else is out there. Because sometimes we can use 10 different Delta assistance products. Sometimes there's just different quirks that we can pull up, and sometimes we can, add on a cosigner for a little while. Uh, I know my daughter and we bought a condo together last year that she lives in, but in 2 years that's going to be a rental property for me. So sometimes there's just different things to think about, and if anybody is even just questioning it, I always say reach out. I mean, our time is free. You're not charged for it. So, yeah, utilize the sources.
So to go through the approval process, you're saying does not cost any money. No. Wonderful. And do you charge for the appraisal if you're going to keep pulling the credit? I said it wrong, not appraisal. Do you charge for the credit pull?
We don't, no. And there are some lenders out there that will, charge you 4.95 up front to cover the credit and their time, and then you get it credited back later. But uh, we don't do that, But it's good business, and no, it's literally, a couple hours talking on the phone. Well, actually, probably 15 minutes talking on the phone. An online application, sometimes sending some documents over. Um, yeah, so I mean, a couple days and you'll have some numbers and figures, a whole lot of things.
And or a plan on how to become a home buyer. Exactly. So if you were thinking about getting into the real estate game, reach out to Jody Langley. Or if you were considering maybe buying an investment home or thinking about making this a move in real estate in general, it sounds like you just need to fill out an application, short phone call, and you can find out if your idea could be factual.
Exactly.
I love it. Yeah. So again, if someone was wanting to get a hold of you, how would they do that?
My website's pretty easy. It's teamlonway.com. And by my cell phone, 253-431-8011. Had it for about 20 years. So if you look up Jody Longley, I sure hope that I'm popping up on that Google page.
If you want to leave a comment that you want to get a hold of her, my team can also put you in contact with her. We have her number as well. And thank you so much for listening to this. If you have any questions about loans and or want to reach out to Jody, please feel free to leave a comment, or you can just look her up at jodylangley.com.
Yep. Yep. Well, thank you. Thank you for taking care of you clients so well too. I mean, you take care of the home buyers, and it's just really, really great.
I appreciate that very much. Thank you. Well, you guys have a great day. We look forward to seeing you at the next podcast.